The following program is a public service of Gulf Coast State College, WKGC, and Commodore Productions. And now, the Military Hour with Cary Dieter.
Good morning and welcome to another Military Hour. We have special guests with us this morning. Returning, we have Commander Matt Duncan with the CVMA, and we also have Jacob Cook with the CVMA. Morning.
Good morning.
Glad you're back. Glad to meet you.
Sir.
And you're going to fill us in on what took place week before last in relation to the second annual poker run. And I don't want to give away any of the information, so you explain exactly what this is, because this is pretty much your baby. You conceived it, you brought it to fruition, correct?
Correct, sir.
Fill us in, because it was a great day.
Awesome. Well, this is our second annual 22 poker run. Last year it was in September. I'm active duty stationed down in Panama City, and every year I like to do something charity-wise no matter where I'm at. And since I got into Florida, I met up with Mr. Duncan here, and I met him, first time I met him was at a bar on a Harley, and he invited us out for a ride, so I told him, I'd tag along. I think I'd follow him in the truck a couple times, and then had to end up buying one, and so that fueled me into promoting poker runs and dice runs and everything like this. And super passionate about the 22 a day, the 22 veterans that commit suicide a day. It's more than 22. It's still an ongoing issue. There's a lot of charities, a lot of 501c that are stepping up to the plate and trying to make a difference. If you notice the 22 and 22, the guys that do the 22 push-ups a day for 22 days, but my thing is I'm a lot better at riding motorcycles than I am doing push-ups. So I wanted to see, with the poker run and bring the older guys out and really show their support. So like I said, we started this August 6th. This is the second one. Last year we raised, I think it was $1,406. And this year the total donation raised was $2,400. And then, we grew so much. I think last year we had 88 bikers register. This year I think it was 146 for registration. So hopefully it just every year just continues to grow and grow and grow, and have a lot of guys, in Panama City really out there showing their support. And
So now, people that don't know, you don't have to necessarily support by riding your motorcycle either. You can come out in a cage or whatever, pull your little red wagon if you're up for helping vets, because that's what it's about, vets helping vets.
If you can bike,
show up, do it.
Walk, swim, run, crawl, whatever you got to do to get there. That's all that matters. And at the end, we have some biker games. And a lot of people are real hesitant to jump out there and have fun with it, but next thing you know, you'll start, someone's up there trying to bite the weenie, and you look back and there's just a crowd of people
waiting to get in line. Yeah, I'm an observer. I don't participate, but it's a lot of camaraderie, good laughs. It's good fun.
It is.
Some people might think that it's not clean fun, but it's all clean fun, and it's good. And it's for the best cause that you could think of. Vets helping vets, and we need to put an end to this suicide problem amongst our veterans. It's just a heartbreaking situation all the way around. So you started out, you came up with the idea, and we can hold that up real quick. Maybe we can get something on that, but that was the original flyer for this year's that was put out. And if you will, fill us in on the member, not just the members, but the businesses that stepped up and made their facilities available for the CVMA and for this fundraiser, the 2022 poker run.
We'll do. I'll start with the stops at first. We had registration at Harley. They gave us so much. Harley really stepped up to the plate. They let us do a registration there, bikini bike wash, live music, free food. I didn't have to bring a single thing up there except for flyers and what I was selling, and to bring people up there. They had me set up, ready to go. The next stop, before I get started, it was all really on this side of the bridge, on the Panama City Beach side of the bridge. So it's a lot easier for people that live on that side of the bridge just to mosey around. And these guys, like every bar that we went to, every stop we did, they've always been real supportive of the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association. They've always been, first ones to offer a helping hand in any way. So the next stop was Whiskey's on Front Beach Road. The second stop was Indian, and I'll come back to Indian. The third stop was the Bowie. The fourth stop was Buster's Beer and Bait, and the final stop was Miss Newbie's on Thomas Drive.
Right.
Last year, I think we ended at Salty Goat, and the owner from Indian was there, and this is when they had first really opened their doors. And he came up to me and he's like, "Hey man, like why didn't you come talk to me?" I'm like, "Honestly, sir, like I didn't see. There's no lights lit up inside the house, so I didn't want to come knocking." And he was like, he was like, "Man," he's like, "Come on." He's like, "I live for this." He's like, "This is what very pro veteran, pro military," and I think he just pulled out just a bunch of cash last year and just handed it to us. I think.
Oh, that was him. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he made like a $300 donation just right then and there.
Good deal.
And
Harley and Indian, both huge veteran supporters.
Absolutely.
Those organizations are. Always have been, and I would think always will be. But anyway, yeah, and it's both of those stores are, I guess if you could say it, they're like motorcycle jewelry stores. I mean, they're clean,
Right.
and the products are right there. I mean, you can get right to them. Anyway, so I'm a little bit motorcycle crazy, but
Right. But this year, Indian, he gave me everything but the kitchen sink. I mean, he gave me tins, T-shirts, full service for motorcycles. He gave me just out of pocket 2 Gulf Coast Jam tickets with VIP parking. I mean,
Wow.
the whole nine. He really stepped up. And then if I could give someone else a big notification was Miss Velma at the Bowie.
oh, absolutely.
Velda.
Velma.
Yeah.
Let's get her name right for
Yeah,
crying
get
out
her
loud.
name right.
Yeah,
Velda.
she is fantastic. She is very pro
Velda, we love you.
Very pro veteran. I mean, she is there. I mean, drop of a hat. She's even told me that if as I've said before, our organization, we find a vet in need, we'll go and donate some money to that vet or help them in any way we can. Velda has told me many times, it's like, let me know. We've got some deep pockets around here too, just for veterans causes. Let her know. I mean, she's fantastic, and I can't say enough about her and the support she just gives the entire veterans community in this area.
Absolutely correct. Yep, she's one of the best.
Absolutely. And then we went to Buster's after that. Buster's is like a very well-known local, Air Force retired, awesome guy. Him and Mr. Bobby up there, they also give us so much for donations and raffles and everything like that. And the last stop was Miss Newbie's on Thomas. Mr. Jimmy up there, the owner, he's very pro-military, pro-veteran as well. We all know Newbie's as one of the most infamous biker bars in Panama City, and but just the most awesome staff. They gave me everything. Like I didn't have to touch anything. They were running around themselves, doing everything.
And during the rallies, that is like one of the venues everybody's going to go to Newbies.
Absolutely.
During the
Oh,
Thunder
they do.
Beach, both those rallies. So, yeah, it's a landmark, pretty much.
Right.
And,
It is.
and always fun times.
But well, and as I said the last time too, and as Jacob had said just now, there are a lot of 501c(s), nonprofit organizations that are trying to address this issue, and he's reporting too that the number is over 22, and I just saw a report the other day that the number is down to 20. Again, conflicting reports, but in any event, even though it might have been down to 20 is still too many.
Yeah, one is too many.
That's just it's something that people fall through the cracks. People don't want to talk to anybody due to pride or whatever. I mean, it's there's so many facets to this issue of why. I mean, and it could be too that some of these people that get lumped into this every day are just veterans who happen to have something else go wrong and decide that suicide's the answer. The thing is, there's so much love and support out there, and I said this last time I was here too. I've been touched by suicide by a couple times throughout my life. Some childhood friends. A few years ago, my best friend's little brother, which was probably the closest it's hit home to me, having to deal with that. I mean, he was in his 20s. It just so senseless. And I know that things I've read and things I've heard about suicides, they just want the pain to stop, and they don't think of anything else. And
Exactly.
to them, that's what stops the pain. and they forget about everyone that's left behind, and it's a different type of pain. If you catch a disease and you die of cancer, that's one thing. If you're in a horrific accident, and well, that's pain too. But the fact that you decided to end it and you did it, it's just a different type of pain that it's indescribable. And the fact that that's one death that could be prevented. Okay, you may not be able to cure the cancer you have, or the accident happened and that's just the way it was, but for you to take your own life, that can be prevented if you talk to somebody. And there's so many people that care and love you that they're there to talk to.
And that's exactly true, exactly right. And I'm sorry to hear the fact that you've been touched by it. I have as well, by
I think we all have,
2
in some
aunts
form
and 1 sister
or another
that completed suicide. I was educated by some people that this is all they do. The real way to say it is that they completed suicide, not committed suicide. Why that different vernacular was put in there, I don't really know. To me, they're both the same thing, but I try to use the completed now because that's the final act, I think, is why that word was put in place. But
I think a big thing too is that there's a taboo that goes along with the word suicide.
Sure.
You have a lot of guys that come back from war, they come back from overseas, and they're tip of the spear, leading the front, and now they're faced with something that makes them seem weaker, and so they try to take this on themselves, and not knowing like the personal effect of what suicide leads to, and how many people are focused. And I'm not one to to cast any sort of blame or why would you do that, but I mean there's so many open ears and open hearts out there, especially like in the biker community. There's so many people that that need that one beer, that need to find that one guy that'll ride right beside them. And
Yep.
Absolutely, that's why I joined, was to get beside somebody and continue from there.
Sure, absolutely. And again, it's about veterans helping veterans. It's not looking for pats on the back or any of that type thing. But my goodness, if you can keep a family together, keep a brother or a sister, from completing that act, which ultimately then it's over for them. But in the wake of all that, the
it's
family,
just beginning,
and
in so
especially
many
when
ways.
there's children involved,
Exactly.
and I've been to 2 of those now of service members that completed it, and wow, I mean it's terrible. It's just a devastation that can be and should be prevented, and we can all do something.
Right.
And you never know what the smallest gesture that
Exactly.
you've extended to a brother or a sister might be that one little thing that stops them from going down that road or that path. We don't know.
A text message.
Sure.
Just, hey, how you doing? You want to get together for a beer or something?
Phone call, yeah.
Something as innocuous as that can just, might mean the world to them, which you have no idea. But
Correct.
Jacob hit on it. I mean, there's that sense of pride, and I've said before, the last 2 times I was here, you didn't deploy by yourself. You weren't the tip of the spear by yourself. There's nothing that says you have to go through this by yourself. There are people that are there to help you.
Exactly right.
And something else I thought about, before coming on today was, I've also said in the past, if I ask someone if they're fine, if you're not fine, don't say you are. I mean, you can find someone that that you feel comfortable with. It's like, man, I'm not doing so good. It's, okay, we'll figure it out. But we need to know that. I mean, if I ask Jake, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. Okay, I'm going to take him at his word. Unless I see something, if I talk to him on the phone, I may not hear it. If I see him and there's something, a glint in his eye or something, like, you sure?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. We tend to go by what that person says. We don't always want to pry.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to. But something I was thinking about too is, if there's so many resources out there for veterans to help them through these times, and that's the thing too. I'm not sure that family members are being educated as well for signs to look for, okay, my husband, my wife, they've come home and their behavior is so much different. They're angry all the time, and then depressed, and then I don't know what to do. And it's like there's support for them as well.
Absolutely. And if you'll allow me real quick, I got to do this because right here in Panama City, there is a resource available at Emerald Coast Behavioral Health. Tim Bedford is the CEO there. They have a 30-bed military resiliency unit, strictly for military.
Awesome.
So if you're having a problem, you can go right down there, or the family can take you down there. They will not turn you away. They have a wonderful program, and again, ties right into this. I mean, that's what Tim does. His father was a Vietnam vet and went through all the PTSD and such, and he'll be here. Tim will be here next week. But in any event, it's there. All you have to do is avail yourself of it.
Right.
But if we can get this word out, I'm sure there are people that don't know it exists.
Exactly.
30-bed military resiliency unit right here on Harrison Avenue in Panama City.
Well, there's
So
family
the help's there.
There's family members now going, I don't know what to do, and it's like, well, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, there are, Google, just Google it. PTSD, Google,
TBI.
suicides, TBI. Google any of that. Google, I mean, you don't have to just wait for the VA to help you. You don't have to wait for them to.
Which you can do.
Which you can't do. And the VA, well, the VA is swamped. I mean, they can only do so much. I mean, let's face it. We've gone through 2 wars, and we've got a lot of people that they've got to take care of. Plus, me from the Gulf War, you from Vietnam.
Old guys, yeah.
There's even World War II vets are still hanging around, and Korean vets. So I mean, they're taxed at times beyond their limits, but there are other resources out there, and there are ways to help our loved ones that are going through this, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So it can be found, but but that's part of this organization, is to get that word out, to get to educate people, and this is what you can do, and this is how you do it. And I believe the website we did last year was 22 Kill. They're doing like a 22 push-up challenge too, but not quite like 22 and 22. And the website for this one is 22in22.info. I mean, get on there and look around and just see the resources that they have. If you want to donate to them directly, that's fantastic. But it's all about raising awareness and letting people know, that there is help out there for the soldier, the veteran, and then there's help for the family too. So I mean, nobody has to go through any of this alone, and that's to me the biggest part. A lot of the veterans just have to get over. They're not John Wayne. They're who they were. They didn't go over there by themselves. They didn't come back by themselves.
Exactly.
They got brothers and sisters that understand. I mean, they can join the VFW, the American Legion. They can join us. I mean, it's
a lot of organizations that have a lot of support. And not only support, but there's good family activities at a lot of the VSOs as well. Give us that web address again for
them.
Info where you
it was
mentioned
22in22.info.
.info.
Right.
Okay, make note of that, folks.
And then the other one that we dealt with, which is also in the news recently, is 22kill. Is it .com?
Right.
Yeah, 22kill.com. It's another one. Again, you could probably Google, nonprofits, for 22 suicides, and there'll probably be, an arm's length of them on Google. Just do some due diligence and make sure that, they're legit. And, Jacob has done research on both of those. They're both legit. They both do good work. So those are 2 good ones right there, but I'm sure there are others. Because, on occasion we hear of an organization that takes advantage, and, unfortunately, that's, opportunities come out at the same time. So, but that's, another topic entirely.
And by the way, if you want to check out a 501c3 organization, you can check them out on GuideStar. There's also another one where you go. That's all they do is they make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do, and they give these report cards also. But now I believe, just because my memory's not what it used to be, you were in attendance at that movie theater showing, the one that Sean Billiot sold the tickets to. He and his wife raised that, and for the life of me, I can't think of the name of the movie.
I'm trying to remember the name.
But it was also in relation to the PTSD and compact stressors. 2
veterans rode across the country, hooked up with some other vets here and there, and actually explored some different type of therapies. One was like on a boat, one was some sort of yoga or something, if I remember right. But it was, again, a raise awareness. Art, that's right, that was another one. But again, it was to raise awareness. And that's the thing too, again, it just kind of dawned on me yesterday. It's like, we sometimes always focus on the veteran themselves, but we always forget about the family. And try to remember that, just because a soldier deploys, the family, they in a way deploy themselves. I mean,
Exactly.
they've got to, stop the gaps here and there because the soldier's gone. And so, I mean, it's the same thing with coming back. News report said the other day, yeah, we do so much to prepare someone to go to combat, but we don't prepare them a lot when they come home to get back into the world. And that is the truth. But there are organizations, there are resources, and the families can look in on it. They can come up with suggestions of how to try to nudge that veteran towards some help. Like I said, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's not something you have to go through alone. Just do some research, make some calls, walk into your normal, your nearest VFW post, your American Legion post. I mean, they're not going to turn you away. It's like, hey, I need to talk to somebody about a family member that's having some issues, and somebody there will know somewhere where they can turn to.
Absolutely
And
correct.
that's, but also, I'd also be remiss if I didn't, stop to also thank. One thing I'm very proud of riding in this town and being, part of the biker community are the other clubs
Oh yeah.
and organizations, and we had a lot of support from them on this ride, and can't say enough about that how much we get along. I've had a couple members leave us and decide to go with an MC.
Sure.
And I totally support that. I mean, that's their path, and that's what they wanted to do, and we get along with those MCs, and
Absolutely.
I can't thank them enough for coming out and supporting us in this. And a lot of people who big hairy scary biker. It's like, no, not really. Get to know them. They're pretty down to earth, and they just like to have fun a little bit. But they're all about helping people too. So I mean,
Absolutely.
that's really like to thank them. And
That's kind of funny, big, hairy, scary bikers. I mean, I've been around it all my life. My dad rode, my uncles rode. I mean, and
I think
we're people.
My wife is the scariest biker that I know.
yeah,
And mine too.
Might be the hairiest too.
she might be.
It's pretty terrible.
What
If you need
gets
a
me
room tonight, I'll give you my address.
What gets me is
You
your
can
wife
crash
hasn't been
out.
riding that long, and she took to it like a duck to water. I'm like, wow, I've never seen a natural so so
She
quick.
shows me up.
And I kid my wife, but I tell her, you know what, you ride like a man. And she rides better than a lot of guys I know.
Yeah, she does.
Of course, she's been on since she's 14, and she's about
That'll do
112. Just kidding, honey.
That'll do it. But yeah, so, but
It's if you haven't been exposed or nobody in your family has been into motorcycles at all, is there an element that's a little shady? Well, sure, that's everything.
oh yeah,
Medicare, Medicaid, whatever. You can call out any kind of organization there is, and there's going to be some shady characters, doctors,
Right.
I bet you there's a member or two of a Mustang Club that probably cheated on their taxes.
Probably, probably, yeah. But the thing of it is, 99% are going to be just everyday people working a job, professionals.
I've heard that before.
Yeah. I mean, lawyers, policemen, doctors, So, anyways,
But that's the thing. We know some 1%ers too, and they're not. They're good people.
yeah,
good
they're
people.
not what the media
They're
would
not.
make them out
They're
to
not.
be, and especially if it's TV. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
no, they're
Some of the shows that came out, I'm like, really? Worst thing could happen to bikers. And you know what show I'm referring to, don't
Oh
you?
yeah.
Yeah, SOA. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So
It's entertaining, but
It's-
it's not history.
if you know the
Yeah.
truth, you can look through it. It's kind of comical.
It's entertainment. It's not a documentary.
Exactly not. So
But no,
we
we-
won't go down that rabbit hole.
No,
so.
but we like I said, I mean, I'm proud to know. I'm proud, proud to ride with a lot of these guys.
Absolutely.
I'm proud to, call them friend and brother, and can't say enough for their support. So,
If people knew even just a little bit of the charity work that all
yeah.
the bike groups do, whether it's an association, whether it's an MC, donators, just always giving back. Whatever the case may be, they show up in droves, literally droves, and say, yeah, let's do it. So, I don't know how you can rally people any quicker or better than that. You put the call out, it's like, okay, we're in.
Right.
Yeah, we're there. We're going to help.
And it wasn't even the raffle items that got people to go. It was a lot of motorcyclists, especially ones that want to belong in an MC or an association or a riding club or riding group, they're prior military.
Exactly.
They're prior military.
Oh,
That's really what started it too. Is being overseas and the thrill of wartime, if that makes any sense, but that I guess that scariness. Adrenaline, right. And then you get back, and the closest thing to it is your best friend right beside you, hitting the highway.
Yep.
That's the closest thing to it. And a lot of those guys, as soon as you mentioned, anything that could help the next veteran, as big and hairy, as scary as they were, or as polite as they could be, they were out there.
Exactly.
There were no barriers, there were no walls around people. Everyone was one person out there.
And here's something that I just enjoy this. I've done it myself, but if you're ever out and you win a 50-50 or whatever, the money, invariably, whoever wins that money, whatever the pot may be, if it's $500, $1,000, give it right back to the charity.
That happened? Right. That happened here?
Yeah. I've done it. It's
even the winner, both the winner of the high hand and low hand.
Yeah, I don't need that.
Money
that
came
goes
right
back to the charity. Absolutely. And I love to see that happen. I do it every time.
Yeah.
I might need the money, $500, but no, somebody else needs it more than I do.
Right.
So it goes.
I might take like 20 off just for my bar tab. But
well, that's understandable as well. So,
but that's the thing. It's getting together. But that's we have a great motorcycle community in this town. We don't
absolutely.
Any differences are handled pretty quick. And taken care of, and then it's like, okay,
and that without incident.
And without incident.
Right.
It's just great. It's a great, and we do come together for these type of events and to help. They pretty much every organization in town's got some sort of their favorite charity, and then we have it on the calendar, and we know, we're there. They're there for us. We're there for them, and that's the way it is.
That's it.
And it's a good time.
And I felt very fortunate coming from Atlanta, because another huge area for bikers is the Atlanta area, all around the metro. And when I got here and moved here, I'm like, oh wow, this is going to be just as good as Atlanta.
Right.
Got to meet a lot of people right away. Velda's one of the first people I met when I got here.
Yeah.
And as soon as I walked in her place, you can see it. She's got the POWMIA table set up. I'm like, I know this is a good place right now.
Wait, this isn't a VFW or American Legion? It's a private bar, and she's got it.
And then I'm looking around, and I'm seeing all the support she's got from all the organizations around town. I'm like, oh yeah, I could have an adult beverage here occasionally.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
and she's good people.
She is.
Absolutely.
She's fantastic.
Great supporter.
Yeah, she'll pull out all the stops for you.
Yeah.
She'll also call local businesses and hey, don't give them the plastic bottles to raffle off. Break the fine china out for these guys. That's what she's awesome.
She is. She really is.
But I would like to keep this going. At the rally, I gave the future runs to Mr. Duncan. Sorry, I'm just trying to remind you that you're old.
You're getting old, brother. See, I knew that was coming. Yeah, you're getting old, brother.
But I tell you, what really fueled me to do a second one was when I did the first one. I've never put together a poker run or a dice run or anything. It's not hard to do. It's especially if you get a good cause anyone, if you can do something, if you want to step up for something, absolutely do it. And they're easy to do. Getting all the stops involved, you're bringing them money.
Sure.
So they're not going to say no to you. But the reason I wanted a second one is because I can't tell you, and I won't list any names, but 5 or 6 people, guys that I've known since I've been stationed down here, they came up to me and they were like, they couldn't say anything. They just had tears in their eyes, and they just wanted to give you a hug.
Oh yeah.
And that lets you know, even what of your buddies deploying, or the statistic out there of others deploying, you don't know, the guy right beside you is dealing with the same exact thing. And that's why I wanted to push for a second one, push for a third one, because this being such a military town, believe it or not, Panama City Beach is a huge military town.
Absolutely.
It is.
That's why I stayed.
There's gonna be new people, new faces come in, and so there's always that thing of a biker-friendly community, but also a very pro-veteran community, especially in today's age. When people feel forgotten, and that's the one thing, is that you're not forgotten, and it's not a thing that you'll always be remembered. It's that we will always be in this together.
And for those that are listening, no matter what you're doing, if you want to become involved, go by VFW. Go by an American Legion. Go by an AMVETS. Go to one of the veteran service organizations. That's just what those are, VSOs. A lot of posts here too. I mean, there are plenty of them on the beach. Triple Nickel. You got 402 that shares that building. 47 AMVET. I mean, all over Panama City. 392. I mean, 2298 out there. 8205 in Parker VFW. 2185 in Sherman out there. All over the place.
Everywhere.
You will find brothers and sisters that genuinely will welcome you, and it's all about we all get together and we all work together, and that's what it's about. And CVMA, if you're a combat vet and you want to look these guys up, look them up. They can go to the national site or the local site, correct?
That's correct.
And do you know those offhand? Or
Combatvet.org, and I can't remember ours offhand. Is it 20? Chapter 20-9. He had it.
Chapter 20.
There it is.
Yeah.
CVMA Florida 20-9.org.
So
I have so much to remember.
And check these guys. Wait till you get
A lot of
my age.
responsibility.
Get my age. I can't remember anything hardly anymore. So.
But
We
yeah.
are out of time. I want you to keep us abreast of what's going on. Let us know what's happening in the community, because if we know, we can put it out, and then maybe a few more will know, and they can let other people know. And
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Thanks, sir.
And good to meet you.
You too.
Squid, vicious.
That's it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.